Hello, everybody. Welcome to the ZED Education Podcast. This is episode number 27. First of all, I'd like to express my gratitude for the support that you keep on giving us, and we are taking it to the next level. Today, I'm honored and excited to have a guest who doesn't move alone. He has a whole nation, which is known as a tribe. And what makes his journey interesting is that he has a wonderful story to tell. Fun fact, our guest today failed grade 7, and we're going to find out, he's smiling. And that is why he's on the Education Podcast, because we want to really find out what he is about, and more so his philosophy on education. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, welcome to the podcast, Dr. Aaron Mujajati. You gave me a look, Doc, when I mentioned about
that kind of now. But where did you get that information from?
About grade 7.
Where?
No, we've done our research.
I see you've done your digging.
Yes, with the team. And so we went fishing out, say, okay, which one are we going to start with, so that we can give him a punch and a nudge, so that he can feel comfortable. Doc, you are welcome. I hope the tea is warm enough.
It is. I love tea. I drink tea all the time. My team gives me tea. They get surprised sometimes it will be very hot, and I'm asking for tea. Yeah.
So, Doc, one of the things that I wanted to find out from you is, I don't know which year you wrote your grade 12, but were you part of the people that were writing? You know, remember those blue papers that used to be written in Zambia?
I think I'm one of those.
Okay.
I did my grade 12. That's a long time ago. I hope
Pedro.
I sat my grade 12 exam in 1995. Well, you were born at that time?
No, I was, Doc. Yeah, I was, but I was in primary. That I can attest. Yeah, I was in my primary years.
Mm-hmm.
Our starting point, is you've always struck me as a very intelligent person.
I hope so.
And to my surprise, record has it that you flunked year 7, grade 7.
Yes.
And so I want to, why do you think that happened?
I think for me it was just lack of focus, to be honest.
Okay.
But also the environment I was growing in. Because when I look back, the reason I say it's lack of focus was because my grade 1, 2, 3, up to grade 4, I was a top pupil, like genius level pupil. Yeah. But by the time I got to grade 5, 6, 7, those 3 years, my performance really dropped. Like it just plummeted.
Okay.
Puberty? Could have been that as well, but also that I said Chaisa at that time was very different to what people know it as
today. Okay.
It was a very different environment. My focus shifted. Add puberty as well, and also the things we were focusing on at that time as kids was very different. So, but again, when I failed in my grade 7. When I was asked to repeat grade 7, I just decided, you know what, let me give this thing a real push.
Okay. At the same school?
Yes, I went back to the same school, Emersdale Primary School to be specific.
Okay.
And when I attempted the second time, I cleared the grade 7, and not just clearing it. I really hammered. Yeah.
The revenge of the sausage.
During our time at that time, to go to Matero Boys in Lusaka, you had to perform. I don't know whether it's still happening even now, but during our time, you had to compete against other grade 7s across the Lusaka province to go to Matero Boys.
Okay.
Yeah, so they used to pick the very best kids. And from failing grade 7 to be picked to go to Matero Boys, it was quite an achievement for me. Yeah.
Okay. In your schooling journey, which subject areas were the most challenging for you, if any?
I didn't struggle with mathematics at all.
Clearly.
That wasn't something that bothered me. Yeah. Although in my early years of school, I struggled with English. For some strange reason, I couldn't read properly.
Do you know what this is reminding?
Uh.
Remember the conversation we had?
So I couldn't read properly.
So somebody takes that from after you.
But here's what I did.
Yes.
By grade 9, somebody taught me that with English, you actually have to study it.
Oh, really?
So then I started studying English. And they told me, for you to study English, you have to read so many books. And if you come across a word you don't know, go check it in a dictionary and define the word. And that's how you learn English.
Okay.
And that's what I started doing. And from that point onwards, as of grade 9, I never struggled with English. Up to grade 12, Nadia distinction in the one.
Did you take literature?
Yes, I ended up taking literature as well.
Do you have any of those? I've never taken literature, but I think maybe Shakespeare. Do you have any favorite lines and poems?
I did Shakespeare.
Any lines that you can remember from your high school days?
Shakespeare. I did Merchant of Venice. What line do I remember in Merchant of Venice? No, I can't remember the lines in Merchant of Venice,
Okay,
but I remember a few lines in Things Fall Apart.
Okay, give us and animate it for us. Yes.
I also did Imprisonment of Obatala. Now that one, the language is very graphic. I don't even know why they allowed us to do that book as in secondary school. I don't know whether they still do that book because the language was very graphic.
Okay.
Yeah, I did The River Between.
Okay, yes, that I've seen it. With
The
a
River
couple of
Between. There was an interesting line there by Ngugi wa Thiong'o where he, in trying to contrast the mix between Western religion and African religion, where one of the characters was telling the sister to say, "Nyambura, I see Jesus." That stuck with me. Yeah. In Things Fall Apart, there was a line that says, "The white man has put a knife on the things that held us together, and now we have fallen apart." Yeah. Yeah, those are the books I remember that I did.
So let's pick it from there. You've expressed concern as to why you had to read or be exposed to more graphic content then. Do you think that for the African education system, it was prudent that you had to be exposed maybe to Shakespeare and all those things? Or would you say, why not have our own African literature that we can now groom our people in? What's your take on that?
No, I think the exposure to both was good. And I'll tell you why I think it was good. It exposed me to different styles of writing English. Shakespeare is a very old book. The language was very old. The metaphors were very old. So, and then you also had, African writers, East African writers, West African writers. The way they used the language was very different. Chinua Achebe used a lot of proverbs. He really played a lot with words. Yeah. So you'd find that the way he would position certain words in a sentence, there'd be simple words in their own right, but the way he would position the words in a sentence, it would be, a bit complex. And for me, that's what I enjoyed. And somehow that also influenced the way I use the English language.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Ever participated in debate?
I did for a bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
What changed for you to stay a bit? Is it the same?
Well, I did participate in debate for quite some time because the school I went to, there'd be interclass debate.
Okay.
Yeah. So I would debate for my class.
Okay. Let's look at Dr. Aaron Mujajati.
Yes.
In university, did you ever fail any test or assessment? Not like a course, because I know maybe that the chances of that happening are slim to none. But did you ever fail any course? Not course, like a test.
Tests, yes.
Okay.
First year and second year, I didn't struggle much.
Okay. So the A levels were
like NS, Natural Sciences, I didn't struggle much. Why? Because the school where I went to do grade 10 up to grade 12, we were doing pure sciences, additional maths, and those things. So natural sciences wasn't strange, because of that. So when I went into first year, I didn't struggle, literally at all. Yeah. Second year, I didn't struggle. The struggle came when I went to medical school proper.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why it became normal now you get a C and you celebrate. I think there they literally break your ego and that's where I learned how to fail again.
Did you have like trauma of the year
Yes.
7? Like we're thinking, is it
100%.
happening again?
It came back, and it came back in a bad way, also in a good way. But it woke me up that, you know what, I can't fail again.
Okay.
Yeah. But did I fail a course? I did fail a course in my 60th year.
Really?
And the course that I failed and repeated in 60th year was the simplest course. Anybody who's gone to medical school will tell you, you actually failed that course. Yeah, it was one of the simplest.
Which course is that?
Community medicine. You end up in the toilet, mkombo ni bwanji.
So did you not approve of that course? Maybe was it an attitude issue towards, because the way you're
for me, it was
describing
an attitude problem.
It's an attitude problem.
When I look back, it was an attitude problem.
Okay.
No one failed that course.
Except you.
No one.
So
So
what are the chances that you are the only person to have failed that course in the history of this country?
Well, maybe others failed before me or
Okay.
after me, but it was almost unheard of.
I see.
To fail community medicine.
I see.
Fail kako vina.
Oh yeah.
Venze venzo gwesa bantu. Not vija.
Not that.
No.
Okay. Now let's come to education.
Yes.
You were a son, a nephew, and you've gone through the schooling system, and now you're a parent. So I want to pick, what's your personal philosophy when it comes to education? Like, how do you describe education and its importance, or what is its importance in modern day society?
Right.
Yeah.
I think it depends on where you are. By that, let me qualify, right? For us who are in a developing country, we cannot. Our attitude towards education, and by education I mean sending our kids to school in a classroom. And by that I mean a generic classroom. I'm talking about formal education here, where you, at the end of it, you get a degree, you get a diploma and things like that. For us who are in developing countries, our posture towards education should be one where we put it at the pedestal. We must take our kids to school.
Why?
And I'll tell you why. It positions the child to be able to compete. Yeah. It positions the child to be able to compete economically. It also helps the child to get a place to start from, a better place to start from for upward social movement. Upward social mobility is very difficult in the third world without education.
Say that again.
Yes, it is very difficult. And I'll tell you why. When we say education is the key to success, we do not stop to ask our question or to ask ourselves, what do we mean by success? Now, kambiri, when you're talking about success, people talk about, hey, who's driving a Ferrari? Success is about driving a Range Rover,
Ford, yeah.
living in Ibex, living in New Kasama. But that is not how population surveys define success. Population surveys that you look at, whether it's local, whether it's international, you can go and check the ZAM stats.
Literacy?
You know how they define success? At economic level. Of course, they're looking at employability. They are looking at your income level. They are looking at your socioeconomic status.
Yeah.
They are also looking at your health outcomes. Now, the other parameter they are looking at also has to do with this thing they call the poverty datum line. How many people are below or above the poverty datum line? And you will notice that majority of people who have education, who've been to school, most of them are above the poverty datum line. Those who have not been to school, majority of them are the ones who are below the poverty datum line.
Okay.
So now, if you're talking about social or economic upward mobility in life, it's a lot harder to do it without education. A lot harder. I'm not saying it's impossible, and I'm not saying you can't, and I'm not saying people without an education cannot be successful. I'll give you an example. People can play football, be very successful at football, and make a lot of money. Cristiano Ronaldo is a billionaire.
Yeah.
Okay. But I have more degrees than him. No, I think so.
Yes, you do.
No, I believe I believe I have more degrees than he does.
I think I also have more degrees than him. Yeah.
Yeah. But he has way more money than
you and I, yeah.
Okay. YO Maps.
Your boy.
YO Maps is a musician who has been very successful, has done very well for himself financially, right? I have not looked at his educational background, but the issue is that he's done very well for himself financially. I don't know whether he has more degrees than me. I don't know. Yeah. But the point I'm trying to make here is this, that while education may not be the only way to prop people upwards in terms of socioeconomic upward mobility, it pushes more people upwards than anything else you can put on the table.
I see.
And that's the point.
And that's a fact.
And that's the point.
Yeah.
Now, you can pick any survey. That's what you will find, that education pushes more people upwards in terms of socioeconomic upward mobility than anything else. Now, can people who've not been to school move up the social ladder? Yes, they can. Can they be successful? Yes, they can. But the question that people forget to ask is, how many are they? How many of those people, compared to those who went to school, are moving up the social ladder? And how easy is it for them? You will find that people who have an education, majority of them easily move up compared to those who don't.
Yeah.
The way you know that is that someone asked me and said, but agriculture has produced more rich people. Okay, fine. Let's look at Zambia itself. Let's take agriculture. And let's take one parameter. When we're discussing these things, let's pick a parameter that we can use to actually measure at population level. Now, for me, the problem I have is that when we're having this conversation, people like to bring outliers and say, hey, how about Elon Musk? Hey, how about Dangote? Hey, how about Bill Gates? Anyway, we have over 7 billion people in the world. How many Bill Gates are there? So if you're making an observation at population level, you cannot bring outliers to argue against a common trend.
Yeah.
That's why in education you have the normal distribution curve.
Yes.
You are an educator.
Yes.
You have that normal distribution curve. Majority should sit in the middle of the curve, and then you have outliers on both ends.
Both sides, yeah.
So, does it make you a brilliant teacher that 3 students or 2 students got 100% at grade 7 final exam?
Yeah.
Or does it make you a bad teacher that 6 students out of 30 failed their grade 7 exam? But people, they are not counting the majority in the middle.
Where
of
the
past,
majority
isn't it? And this is the argument people like to make when we are discussing education. When we say education pushes more people upwards in terms of upward social movement than anything else you can put on the table, they'll be saying, but that one is an outlier. There are very few there. So bring me something else that has that level of impact on a population level than education. Bring me one thing.
Then we can have that conversation.
Then we can talk.
So
then at that point, we are now comparing oranges with oranges.
Oranges, not oranges.
That's why for me, going back to the question you asked me, what's my attitude towards education? Me, I'd say, if you are capable of sending your child to school, send them to school. Send them to school. Whether they are going to use that degree or not, it's a discussion for another day, but send them to school. Why do I say that? From a healthcare standpoint, remember when you're discussing success, one of the things they talk about is health outcomes, right?
Yes.
It has been shown that babies born to mothers who have not been to school are more likely to die under 5 than babies born from a mother who went up to grade 12.
Yo.
Now, this information I'm telling you is in the DHS, the Zambia Demographic and Health Survey. It's there.
For which year?
Any year. Pick any year.
So it's consistent.
That curve is still there, and we are fighting to reduce that curve. And how do we reduce it? We're sending more girls to school. Because we know that when girls reach grade 12, less children die under 5. And then you sit here and you tell me, no, education, this, education, that.
So, Doc, what you're saying is then the conversation should not even be...
You're focusing on money.
Should not be, what is the place of education? Because its place is well known. Then we just need to reinforce on the quality of education that we're giving our people.
Now,
so before you come in, then what do you say to people that who like arguing, say, these days all you need is a skill?
Okay. That argument has one problem. Okay? That argument has one problem. While I agree that skills are important, and I agree, and there's also another argument that people give, there's also informal education. There's also apprenticeship. There's also that man who amapanga chabe mageti, and he can teach his son to make gates, and the son can also make gates and, any livelihood.
Yeah.
I agree. But if you're managing a country, okay, if you're looking at I'm managing a country and I want to move a group of people upwards socially, nothing beats education. Now, put it here and let's compare statistics.
Okay.
Yes. Nothing.
Yeah. So whilst the argument can hold the water, but it cannot still compete with the fact that education still, who's this? Kazadi likes saying, education remains undefeated. Yes.
And I agree with him. It remains undefeated. Because if you are looking at things at population level, it remains. For example, it's like when we talk about entrepreneurship and whatever, you will find that in certain jurisdictions, people who actually have jobs, who go for work every day, are in a better, more stable financial position than us who are doing entrepreneurship. Why? Because the rate at which people succeed at entrepreneurship is not as high as people want to project it. We fail more than we succeed in entrepreneurship. Yes. But someone who holds a job and is prudent financially in the way they manage their money, they live a very decent life.
Yeah.
Very decent.
Pressure-free.
Very decent life. So sometimes some of these things, when we are pushing a narrative, let's look at the numbers and look at the actual statistics than picking outliers and we are throwing outliers in people's faces.
Okay. And in the world where we are all creating content, like you're mentioning, people just pick an outlier and hammer it so well, fluently.
At Bill Gates and Endok School, also Endok School will be successful.
No, he's a drop. In fact,
no, he's a college dropout.
He's a college dropout.
Now, one minute college dropout who is running Microsoft and everything, does he employ people who've never been to school?
No, he goes for
Why
the
does he go and get people who've been to school? If education is not important, let him go to the streets, pick up people who've never been to school, his fellow dropouts to go and run his company. Why does he go for accountants who've been to proper schools? Why does he go for lawyers who've been to the best schools? Why does he do that? If education is not important,
he knows. The world cannot run without education.
No, you can't.
Okay.
The system is designed in such a way that education is supposed to produce workers. Now, say for example, in a Nachokera Kuchai side, my father is not a very rich man, but here's what he did for me. He took me to school. I went to school. It gave me a base. That education I got a job because of the same education. Okay? And I rose in government to the point of chief executive officer of a parastate. That's not small. And I did all that because I had an education. And I was paid good money by the government throughout my career. And because of that good money, I ended up starting a business. Now imagine me, same person, but I haven't been to school. Would I be sitting here talking to you right now?
I doubt it.
Yeah. Would I have the hospital that I have right now?
No,
I wouldn't. Would I have all the other businesses that I have right now? No, I wouldn't. Now, Bas, you want me to come and sit here and start saying, education is not important, start businesses.
Doc, we are in a developing society or world. Are there courses in our education system that you feel should not be pushed too much? I'll give you an example. Last week I was in Zimbabwe. I was attending an education expo. And on the panel discussion, one of the just put it there. One of the people, they are very rich. He stood, and is a professor. He came and said, I do not believe that we, in our region, Southern African region, Africa, so we don't need courses that talk about peace and conflict. And he said, why? You are in this country and you are studying peace and conflict. Where are you going to use that?
Now,
what's your take on that?
You see, for me, a conversation like that is needed.
Really?
Yes, a conversation like that is needed. We need to be a society that is learning. And a learning society adjusts as circumstances change. We are a living organism. And if we don't adjust, we die or we lag behind. All right? I'll give you an example. Because you know that digitization is upon us. You know that. AI is upon us. You know that. Okay? So then you begin to think to yourselves, what other skills do we need to start emphasizing on now? There was a point in Zambia when going to school to become an accountant was the big thing to do.
It was a great
It was a big thing to do.
Yeah.
Going to school to become a lawyer was a big thing to do. But do you know what the big thing to do now in Zambia is? You now need artisanal skills, hand skills. So meaning that our education now needs to start investing more and researching more on which type of hand skills do we need. I'll give you an example. I was talking to a friend recently. He's gone into manufacturing. One of the things he was telling me was that one of the problems we have, or one of the problems I'm facing now that I've gone into manufacturing, is to find people who are able to maintain these machines.
In this country?
Yes, in this country. If you've ever built a house, you'll find that the people who were building your walls, doing your tiles, it's funny how there was a trend in Zambia. I don't know that it's still going on now. If you're building a house, they'll even tell you, find a Zimbabwean. To put tiles, find a Zimbabwean.
I'll tell you this.
Okay?
Yeah.
Now, Zambia has had a construction boom that is benefiting, and yet you have a lot of young people who are Zambian who can't lay a brick or who can't put tiles.
Yeah. Let alone just do a nice plaster.
And yet there's demand for people who want to put tiles. So meaning that our education system also needs to respond to the needs. One of the things you will notice, and it's a very interesting conversation I have sometimes, especially with business owners. If you sit down with a lot of business owners, they'll tell you, guys, it's very difficult to find quality people.
Do you also face that?
But on the flip side, you have a lot of people who are looking for jobs.
Yeah.
So you have employers looking for people. You have people looking for jobs. But there's this gap. So meaning that either the education system is not talking to industry, or industry is not talking to the education system to say, these are our needs. And I think just because there's that gap, it doesn't mean education is fading. No. It simply means the two sides are not talking to each other.
So we need to reconcile and find...
You can't come and sit here and tell me it means education is not important, or it means education is failing. No, that's not what it means. What it means is that the two sides are not talking to each other effectively. That's what it means, to me at least.
So those conversations are important, and we bridge the gap between industry and the system itself that is producing the people to work in the industries.
Because remember, if you go back, the education system that we run right now, it was created for what? To create laborers, to create people who can work, and feed into the economic system. So when the education system is not producing the kind of people that can feed into the economic system, give feedback and say, imbeo yanemuleta C7 chinjani imbeo ni yasoi, then they'll produce the imbeo that you want. Because industry cannot run without a strong education system. Could it be industry which can run without a strong education system? Could it be?
Then how can we make our education system improve our status as a country? We know that we are more of consumers than producers. So how do we then bridge that gap? Which courses, if there are specific courses you want to speak to that, we should produce more of this? Let me give you an argument, since you're a medical doctor. Someone said, we produce doctors, we need to produce more people that can manufacture, because doctors fix broken things. So we need more things that can be broken so that doctors can attend to those. What's your take?
Okay. I think that statement is born from a perspective that either teaches or that has taught that doctors only wait for people to fall sick for them to fix them. Or that I'm a doctor of disease. No, I'm not just a doctor of disease. I'm also a healthcare professional.
Okay.
Part of my job is to maintain your health. Part of my job is to keep you healthy. That's part of the job of a doctor. Now, how productive can you be if you have a productive population that is very sick in a country?
You can't.
We are just coming out of an HIV pandemic. We lost a lot of skills during that HIV pandemic. People forget that Zambia lost a lot of good people. By good people, I mean a lot of people with very rare skills during the HIV period before ARVs came. By the time ARVs came to plug the gap, that gap in skills started showing itself. I'm not sure whether we've recovered from that.
Question there. What did we do wrong? Was the message you were sending, because I'm also in the education space, I remember the biggest tagline was abstinence. Iriche. Were we wrong to use that tagline, or should we have said, if you can now, if you cannot, can you condomize? Could that have contributed?
You see, one of the outcomes of success for education that we measure is health outcomes, right? Now, one of the things that caused a problem with the HIV pandemic at the time was our inability to communicate effectively. And if our message was properly coined, it wasn't landing.
The way.
And part of the reason it wasn't landing was probably because the language we were using and the complexity of the subject could not be received. Why? Because of the level of education of your population.
Yes, I like that, Doc. So we cannot isolate these. They're interlinked.
You can't. You can't.
Yeah.
Because of the level of education of your population.
Yeah.
And this thing, you can actually go and see it. There are proper parallels. You will find that the lifespan of a population that is less educated is lower
than the educated.
Manje, even to viriko even I'm checking. So now let's go back to the issue of
let's
HIV,
go back.
right?
Yes.
One of the things that was a bit of a problem with the HIV message is that when condoms were introduced as one of the methods for preventing HIV, there was a religious message that came to counter that. There were pastors who stood on a podium and said, don't use condoms, it's a sin. And boards are there, records are there. Okay? It took a lot of educating to get people to the level where they will now look at this thing as, look, this is an intervention that is needed. It took what? Education. Now, take away education from this equation. How many people would have died of HIV?
Too many.
That's what I'm coming back. Education.
Because I see whatever route I take, I still bring it here. So,
I'm very convinced that education is needed, except that people make arguments against education that are not well founded.
Okay.
They're either emotional.
Yes. Could it be that there are people that maybe did not really understand what education could do for them? I'll give you an example. Is it guaranteed that if you get educated, you're going to get a job, and these people haven't gotten a job after 6, 7, 8 years, and they're thinking, you know what? That message that education is a game changer or it's a superpower is false, because look at me. And as a result, the narrative, misery loves company. You form a committee that says education is no longer something that we should talk about. In fact, in today's world, let's just talk skills, because this thing called education. So could it be that maybe even as we say education is important, we've not made people understand that when you go into education, you need also to have this. It's not the paper that gives you.
I think when we talk about skills, right? How do people get the skills in mass? At population level, in mass. If I want to transmit a skill in mass, how do I do it?
Education. It's simple.
No. How do I transmit that skill? If you are saying, okay, people need skills, okay, great. Education, we don't need it.
Dr. Mujajati.
And I want to transmit this particular skill in mass. How do I do it? The best place to go for me to transfer that skill, I have to go back to universities and colleges. And for us, we have these vocational training institutions like TVETA. That's where you need to go.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you were to change or transform the education system in Zambia as it is, what would you change or what would you twist?
There's just certain information that has become redundant. For example, how does it help my child to learn that David Livingstone discovered the Victoria Falls?
History, to know where you're coming from.
But do you know what you're doing to my child when you do that? You know what you're doing to my child when you do that? In the same history class, you are teaching my child that this particular person had to be taken by locals to go and discover it. Okay? And the locals that took this person to go and discover the falls looks like my child.
So reinforcing.
So what are you telling my child? Mumuuza chani mwana. You are perpetuating the narrative that lowers the self-esteem of the child. The child now looks at where she comes from and her people as less than.
So you've already conditioned the child.
It's even an exam question. Are we still teaching that?
I'm not sure. I can't speak to that. But
now, if you are still teaching that, for me, those are things I'd say, you know what? That's part of the history that needs to be told properly. Because that information, you have to think about what it is doing to the children. You have to. And history is important for me as a subject in school. It has to stay. But who is writing that history for our children? And who has written it? Are we still teaching the history written by our conquerors? And are you telling me that they'll teach a history that gives confidence to my child and teaches my child that we are a people, we are a proud people?
Definitely not.
For me, those are some of the things I would want to
change. Okay.
For example, when I was in school, I hope it's still not the same, you were taught on geography of other lands. Geography of Canada, geography of Shan, which is important as well.
Prelis.
But you'd find that you have a student who graduates, knows geography yakutali huko, but geography yakumbia kwa nyumba ya kisazi.
You don't know,
Munavichinja vija olivikazija.
Those are out, Doc.
Very good.
Yeah, those are out.
Now, the other things that need to change is where we now need to be able to develop curriculum that responds to the needs of society at the time. The needs of our society have changed. Clearly changed.
How soon do you think that should happen? I'll give you an example. We do curriculum reforms in our country every 10 years. And if I compare it with, for example, the Cambridge, even just the way they change every 3 years, they'll make certain adjustments to the course outline and the content. So you find that statistics show that we are about 50 years behind because we take so much to make changes. In the past, when did cell phones start, Doc? It's in the past 20 years. Maybe that's when we had the first So with that change, we've only had to change our curriculum twice. So that is where we are now. So according to you, how soon do you think we should have these education reforms?
Okay. First of all, I'm not an educationist, right? And change also needs to be managed.
True.
You can't be changing things every other year. Yeah, you can't. Yeah. You also need time to be able to study and see whether the change you made previously is having what type of impact
on the ground.
The question we should be asking is, the parameters we are using to measure the impact of what we are using, have we chosen the correct parameters? And are those parameters answering us in time? Now, I don't know what parameters people in education use. I don't know. But here's what, I'll give you an example, right? There's a country in Europe, I forget which one. I was reading an article 3 months ago. I'll remember which one, but it's one of the Scandinavian countries. This push of putting computers in schools, yeah, they quickly discovered that when kids are learning with computers in class, their performance dropped compared to their parents who learned without computers. So the cognitive capacity of kids drops when you're using computers to learn. So you know what they've done? They are removing computers from class. They've gone back to books.
Yeah. I saw an article, I think in the UK as well. They had allowed kids to come with phones. They've said nope, because the reading culture is dwindling. They can't even recite the Shakespearean poem. So they said, no, this is killing us. They've withdrawn them.
No. When I remember the country, I'll let you know, but it's one of the Scandinavian ones. They've gone ahead and removed computers from primary schools. Totally removed them. They've gone back to books. Actual books. Muziberenga mabuku, not vapa computer. But wasn't it fashionable to say, hey, bring computers in schools? Hey, ukubazungu wapunzira na makompyuta. Hey, kwanje. So now, the question is, for them to be able to make a decision so quickly, what parameter were they measuring that gave them that feedback? So when you are changing things in the education sector, for me, I'd want to ask and say, which parameters do you measure? And how long does it take for these parameters to give you the indicators that you're looking for? Because I think if you're not monitoring what you're doing, and if your monitoring systems are not effective, probably maybe that's why you take that long. And also sometimes you find that there's this thing of doing things the way they've been done before.
Yes.
Where it's in the last 30 years, this is how we've done it. In the last 40 years, this is chamene icho. That's my personal problems foot.
And usually those statements come from older people.
Yes, but we are now the older people. We are the ones who are telling young ones. It's us now we're doing it.
Doc, you have excelled in medicine, in business. Have you ever failed at a business?
Several times.
Really? Are you able to share one?
Me, I've failed at more businesses than the ones that I've worked. Let me count the businesses that have failed.
Okay.
Oh. Kanagwa ka business. I was in the transport sector.
Okay.
I used to run my transport business. I started it when I was in medical school, actually. I bought my first car when I was in 6th year of medical school.
Okay.
Yeah. So when I started that business, it grew up like 13 or 14. Those blue taxis, LSK, Shanshan.
Oh.
Yeah, I had those.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So by the time I was like 3 years into my job as a doctor, I had that many cars on the road. Yeah. Then I decided to switch and go into car rental. And I did car rental for a while.
Okay.
My key clients were institutions like the American Embassy, CRS, and these American-related NGOs like University of Maryland. Those were my key clients.
Okay.
And I had a good time.
So what failed?
In a guache business.
Or did you neglect your business? Or because the clients that you're mentioning, it's top-end clients.
No, they gave me good business.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
So did you lose interest? I would want you to share what, for example, people tell you, there's money in eggs. Then here, Doc, you're saying that business can agwa kama eggs.
Nagwam. Now,
Nadia Capital.
to Nadia Capital. With my transport business, there's this trend of, side hustle, side hustle. Okay, you're running a business, you're also in a job, you're running a business. Some businesses do well like that, some don't.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Transport, I think, is one of those businesses that require you to do it full time. You actually have to be fully invested in the business. Okay. You actually have to make a lot of time for it. When I look back to see why my transport business failed, is because I didn't have time for it. No, I didn't. To juggle between being a doctor, and at that time I was also studying my master's, making time to go and see what people.
So something has to give in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Eventually it collapsed.
Okay.
And then I tried to do a university.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes, nice education. It never. I did.
For medical or just?
So a medical university. So I had partnered with another university from outside the country. So I partnered with them to set up a university here. So the bureaucracy at that time of registering took forever. The licenses to come out, all of them took more than 9 months. So the investor decided, I'm 9 months.
Just to register.
I decided to pull out his money and he left. By the time he was leaving, 3 weeks later, the licenses came out. I was like, my license at
forget.
Sinifuna.
So that was a missed opportunity.
Yes.
Okay.
I also went into microfilm. No, not microfilm. This
lending.
EV, not vol lending. These things were used to. They are now popular nowadays. At that time, there wasn't that many.
Okay,
at that time, there was just Kazang doing it. These point of sale machines.
Point of sale machines. Yes.
I went into that as well. I had partnered with some guys. Again, took a while to get licenses out and everything. My partners got frustrated and left.
Okay.
What other businesses have I done and failed? There are quite a number.
They are a number.
I also went into the oil business.
But Care Peak, the medical institute, is thriving.
No, Care Peak is thriving. Qubit Insurance Brokers is thriving.
Qubit is...
Yeah, it's
brilliant. I must say that Care Peak has one of the best customer service I can attest.
Really?
Because,
wow, thank you. I'll tell the team so that they become consistent.
Yeah. I got a call from one of the ladies there. Said, hi, Mr. Banda, how are you? I'm okay. No, we just wanted to check on how you are feeling today. And I'm thinking, obviously, it's a bill or they're telling me, no, we just wanted to check on you, how you're feeling today. That was like, I think 4 days after I visited.
Oh, really?
Really? And the lady had, I don't know what you do to them. She spoke and I got the message. So that's brilliant.
I'll give them feedback so that they are consistent.
Okay.
Yeah.
The month of June is said to be the month of men's mental health, Doc. And I have a statistic that I wanted to read it to you. When we look at this, this came out on ZNBC today, I think some days ago, that Chinama records 9 male stress cases daily. And the article in brief says that that most men in our country, and maybe the sample size is Lusaka, Dr. Tafuna has explained that stress pushes men into depression, anxiety, and early access to help can stop this form of waste. What is the biggest challenge that we have as men that is showing that we have this high level, and this is just for Lusaka, I take it, to have this high level of cases among us as men? And is there an age group that is mostly affected with this? Because it didn't really state, just says men in general.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can correlate that with unemployment. Mm-hmm. In places where you have high unemployment, things like that happen.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. You can also correlate that with, you can draw parallels with stability in the homes. Unemployment breeds unstable homes, which also leads to kids who don't have fathers or parents who are present. Yeah. So, I feel part of the solution means that we need to create more jobs. you have a lot of people out there with qualifications and they can't get a job.
Okay.
Which brings us back to what we were discussing. Is our education system speaking to
the needs
to industry, and is industry speaking to our education system? But also, you've also noticed that the drive, one of the drivers of mental health problems is the rise in social media consumption. That impacts things or mental health issues at several levels. I'll speak just about a few.
Okay.
We are becoming more and more isolated.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying olden days are better. I'm just telling you that I had more interactions with fellow human beings than the children that we are raising now. They don't even know who their neighbor is. Yes. Mwana katika school is in front of the screen until they go to bed. They'll be in front of the screen again tomorrow morning until they go to bed. And including adults. We are more locked looking down. So there's less
human interaction.
Now, that human interaction is very, very important. Social connectivity or social connection. Ask any psychiatrist, they'll tell you this. That one of the key issues that you require to build mental resilience against stress or any mental illness is high quality social connections, which we have replaced with the tablet and the screen.
Okay. So you cannot get that from these, even if you're watching people and then you can't.
You need people. So that's one of the drivers. Also, plus the fact that of course, you have unemployment, you have social media issues, but along with social media, right? Our culture is changing, and our values are changing
as well.
Yeah, where you find that if it's young girls or if it's young boys, what social media is projecting is a measure of success that cannot be verified. Yeah. So they borrow things, they borrow a car, take pictures and put them out, and kids think that, and they put themselves under pressure to also do the and as a result. Yeah. So, and also sometimes also this socioeconomic uncertainty that happens with people where you are pursuing something, right, but you are not sure the outcome. Yeah. Life does not guarantee us anything, including education. It doesn't guarantee anything.
Anything can happen.
Yeah. But we have these, and where your expectations are here, but what is actually happening doesn't match what you're expecting. Yeah. And that's how people are now driven into substance abuse as a coping mechanism. That's why you also see that correlates with very high alcohol consumption, very high substance abuse, suicide and suicide attempt, things like that.
So what should men do to take care of their mental health?
It's difficult. You will find that whether men have jobs or not, it's a lot harder on men who don't have jobs. And I'm going to speak generally here, and I'll be generalizing a lot.
Okay. And
because I'm going to speak generally, right? I know there will be people be raising their hands. But I know this one, this. No. I'm giving you a caveat. I'm generalizing. Every time I'm asked that question, I like to talk about building resilience. Because by the time you got to the hospital like China to go and seek help, then it means that your defense mechanisms have been breached. And also part of protecting yourself is seeking help early.
Yeah.
But then what can you do as a man to build that resilience, to build that defense? Number one, you need to build strong social connections. If you're married, you need to have strong social connections with your wife, your children. If you go to church, be a good member at your church, things like that. Friends that you share similar values with, that you meet on a regular, to talk physically, not to. And here I'm talking about high quality friendships, because men don't do well when it comes to making friends.
No.
And that's why you find that when these issues of mental health issues hit us, we are more vulnerable than women.
Yeah.
Women have a very strong social connections. And as men, we need to be, more deliberate. I'm not talking about these types of friendships that we create as men where you are drinking with this guy for 6 months and you don't even know his name. You
Boy, yes.
or chairman or big buyer.
These days is what?
Mwaiche. You don't know the guy's name, but you drink with him and he's your friend. You don't even know where he stays. You don't even know whether he has children. You don't know. But with women, the people that they hang out with, they know the details. But as men, we don't. So cultivate stronger social connections. The other thing has to do with self-awareness. You need to be self-aware. You need to know who you are. You need to know yourself. You know what triggers you. You know your strengths and your weaknesses. The other thing has to do with diet. But then you can't talk about diet to someone who doesn't have a job. Yeah? Or someone who doesn't have a source of income.
Yeah.
Diet. But for those who can, be mindful of what you eat.
Yeah.
Also, we talk about issues to do with exercise. Exercise regularly. We also talk about, here I'm talking about building a defense, right? We also talk about things to do with sleep. I always argue, do not listen to any motivational speaker who's going to tell you to sacrifice your sleep for success. Yes, you will be successful. Maybe you might be. But you will die and leave all that money sooner than you think. So, if you want to really protect yourself, do not compromise on your sleep. Now, remember that normal distribution curve we talked about? There are people who need less sleep, but those are few. And there are people who need more sleep. Those are few. And these people in these extremes should keep quiet when a discussion about sleep comes up. If you know you need 4 hours of sleep for you to be effective, don't come and preach to us who need the standard
and make it
7 to 8 hours.
Yes.
When
How would you be sleeping? People are making money.
Even and this thing where you are taking an outlier to now make it as a standard for the majority, for the standard, it's ridiculous. And such arguments are not intelligent arguments.
So, Doc, can I counter?
Yes.
When it comes to meals, you talked about diet. I think you're on record to say you only eat 1 meal in a day, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so that's not the standard.
I'm not the standard.
Okay.
But,
yes.
And even when I talk about me eating 1 meal a day, I don't recommend it to people and say, you must eat 1 meal a day. I was sharing what I do.
And what works for you.
And what works for me.
Yeah.
But here's the standard. This one I can defend as a standard.
Okay, what's the standard?
You don't need to eat breakfast.
You don't need to eat breakfast?
No, you don't. Breakfast is not biological.
But if you have your last meal at, let's say, 8 p.m. And you sleep and wake up in the morning, don't you need a kickstart? And they say, eat like a king. Your breakfast should be the heaviest meal to run you through, like fuel to run you through the whole day, Doc.
There is no biology in that statement, my brother. And we apologize as doctors for promoting that conversation.
So what is in it if it's not biology?
We take it back.
You take it back.
If you look at the normal distribution curve, majority of people in the middle do not wake up hungry. Normal human beings, majority of them who are in the middle don't wake up hungry. There's a small number for him to function. Those are few people, and those should keep quiet when this conversation comes up.
Okay.
You can even check this yourself. Just check. I'll give you an example.
No, Doc.
Okay. Have you interacted with people from the village?
Yes, I have.
Okay. What time do they wake up to go in the field? 03.
Early.
03:30, some 4 if they are late. When they get to the field, what is the first thing that they do? Do they start eating?
No.
When do they take the break? The first break that they take. What gives them the guide that now we are taking the first break? zuva
Lunch, yeah.
zuva ngati yapya maningi, they'll go and sit under a tree. That's when they'll start eating.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And science supports that lifestyle.
Yes, our science supports that. It's not even a lifestyle, it's biology.
Okay.
Even you yourself, just check yourself. Do this experiment for the next 3 days or so and say to yourself, I'll only eat when I'm hungry. Just tell yourself that. I'm not going to eat when it is time to eat. There's a difference.
Yes.
Most people eat because it is time
Yakwana.
to eat. Yakwana. And how yakudya manje tenti then you eat. Breakfast falls in the category where people eat because it's time to eat. Now, if you listen to your body and eat only when you are hungry and you are strict on that, chances are high you will never eat breakfast. Here's why. When you wake up in the morning, your body releases a bout of sugar from the liver. That sugar that the body releases from the liver is what your body uses to help you get out of bed. If that doesn't happen, you can't. You can't.
So the fact that you've woken up, the body has given you.
It has given you enough sugar from the liver, right? And because the body has released that sugar from the liver, it is that sugar from the liver that stops you from feeling hungry first thing in the morning. Especially if you had a meal previous night. Vambiri vantu njala imabugwira kuma 11 hours to 12:30 thereabout. Do this experiment, you'll be surprised. You'll only be eating twice a day. Zamba chekudya lunch na supper. Ero na supper yakaena yo. Don't have supper within 2 hours before going to bed. That's why mlota voipa, mlota vakupisha, unamanga kodi mfiti mneighborhood. It's because you're going to bed with a full stomach. You need to eat such that between the time you've had your meal to the time that you go to bed, there should be at least 2 hours in between. The reason we say that is because the food will have gone beyond the stomach and it's gone down into the intestines. So your brain is not competing with the stomach for blood. The reason you doze off after you eat in Shima is because the stomach is pulling blood, more blood than the brain.
Okay.
And because the brain is sensing that I'm not getting enough blood, you know what it does? It knocks you down to starve the hands and legs of blood so that there's less blood going to less essential parts of the
That's
body.
why you have that kai.
Legs and hands, as far as the brain is concerned, these are not as essential for survival, so it will knock you down. So there's not too much blood and demand going into the legs. So the blood is shared between the brain and the stomach. That's why it knocks you down.
I like this. This conversation will go on and on.
Manje, mfuna ndo gona. Kani mukudya 8 lamps. And then 10 minutes later you're in bed and then you started dreaming people.
Okay, we have worked. Doc, let's touch probably our last discourse on sexual reproductive health.
Yes, sir.
And on this one, I want to hear your thoughts on, I think the past 2 months, there has been reports, Chipata Level 1 Hospital, I think, has been indicating on vasectomy for men. I remember having a conversation with a certain gentleman who told me to say, no, this, us as African men, vama vasectomy, vavazungu, us African men, we don't need that. I want to hear your thoughts about the procedure itself, and I'll load the questions. I've seen literature when I was preparing for this, which was saying that there's some people who have had vasectomy but still ended up having to impregnate a woman, and others have said that they've had chronic pain after the procedure and it has messed up their sex life. Can you speak to that now?
Okay. The men who've had babies after vasectomy, it is because they didn't tell their wives that they were going to do a vasectomy.
Yes. I think what you're saying.
If you are going to do a vasectomy, make sure you inform your wife, because if you don't tell her, the vasectomy will fail.
Do you people know what a vasectomy is? Yes. Oh, okay, yes. It will fail. How will it fail, Doc?
It will fail if you don't tell her. You have to inform your wife that I'm going to do. Ukacha vasectomy asikiriti. As a bala.
Doc is speaking.
Zion is. Let's get back to
let's get
vasectomy. So vasectomy as a procedure is actually a plumbing job.
Okay.
In plumbing, basically you have tubes that carry sperm from the testicles, and then the sperm comes out, and then you comes out. So that passage, it's just tubes. There's no blood involved, nothing. It's just a tube.
I see.
So all they do is they go and get that tube and tie it and close it. That's it.
That's all.
The testicles continue to receive blood. The testicles continue to produce sperm, but that sperm can't come out.
So how does ejaculation then happen?
Ejaculation, they ejaculate. Not all of it comes from the testicles. 60% of that ejaculate that you see comes from the prostate gland. That's why
Okay.
when someone has had a vasectomy, they still ejaculate.
Is the intensity
No,
still the
it stays
same?
the same.
Oh,
And
kuma
even
kala
when-
what?
For example, if you do a vasectomy today, let's say you have not done a vasectomy, right?
No, I haven't.
And I collect your sperm, and I look at it here. I tell you to go and do a vasectomy. You ejaculate after vasectomy, and I bring your sperm here. They will look exactly the same. Exact color, same thickness, everything the same.
And the potential is still the same.
The only difference will be that if I look under the microscope, tuja tumbololiko tuantuma nyaya tuja. In the semen, in the ejaculate that has come after vasectomy, there will be nothing swimming inside.
Okay.
In the ejaculate where you did it before vasectomy, there will be things swimming inside. And it is those things that swim. That pass a mimba to. Now, the ejaculate will be exactly the same
Okay.
in appearance and everything. It's only different when you look at it under a microscope.
Okay.
Where we find out umutulimu. That's why when you've done a vasectomy, they'll tell you to abstain from sex. Why? Because those sperms tumasala mmatube moja. Even if mwajua tuba, tuna tumasala mkati.
From remnants.
So what they'll be doing is that they'll be collecting sperm from you, and they'll be checking under a microscope to see whether twasirirato. Bakapeza twasira manje, then they are commissioning you to say, baba, go ye therefore.
Yes.
And produce nothing. Okay?
Okay. This episode is R18. Yes.
Now, it's permanent. Yes.
So it's not reversible?
No. In Zambia, it is not.
Okay.
You cannot reverse a vasectomy in Zambia. Once it's done, it's done.
Okay. Does a vasectomy affect libido?
No. And here's why it doesn't affect libido. The testicles are not affected. The blood supply to the testicles stays intact. It's only the plumbing that is blocked.
I see. Which procedure is easier, the vasectomy or the one for women? What is it called? Where they tie
vasectomy is easy. Vasectomy can even be done from this room.
In this room?
Yeah. Because you know why? Mwamuna, everything is outside.
Oh. Okay, I see. So it's easy.
The access that day, it's just the skin. It's skin thick. Now to access the gonads, the tubes for a woman. Mupitira mumimba hapa, mwajua hapa, mwangena mkati mwendo visakira paka muvipeze. And then for women, you have to take them to theater. She has to be put to sleep under general anesthesia.
Yeah.
Vasectomy kubina general anesthesia.
Just
in case of amabona magazi kwa kuchacha fast waenda kunyumba.
I see.
It's easier, it's faster.
Okay.
Now, you've said vasectomy is not for an African man.
Yes, that argument.
I would want to hear why people think like that. Because vasectomy is a very effective and good contraceptive method for a couple that has reached the size of the family that they wanted, and they don't want any more.
Okay.
And they are very sure that they don't want any more. Yes. That's why you have to discuss na madam that wenda ku vasectomy.
The ways. Okay.
Now, Africans, if you come from a tradition or culture that has polygamy as a practice, you may not want to do vasectomy. If that is their argument, then I understand that vasectomy may not be for an African, especially if you practice polygamy. Yes.
Okay. So this conversation was not just on vasectomy, but it was all rounded. So let me throw this at you. Why the person felt that this is not an African thing, more and more of a Western agenda, is they hold dearly to the school of thought that there is this ploy to want and manage our populations in this continent. Why? Means of production requires you to have human capital. And human capital translates to how much you produce. If you look at the biggest economies in the world, one of the things that they also thrive with is the number of people that they have. So you bring in every possible way of making sure that the population of the African society is curbed, okay, and controlled, so that we do not exceed numbers, because the more numbers you have, the more food you need to produce, and just basic necessities. So that is what they're coming from. And when we look at sexual reproductive health, is it true that there are programs that are meant to curb population growth in our continent?
There were, if there are certain documents that have been made public now, I mean, these are things you can refer to, and these documents are there. There are these theories, and there are these policy positions that were taken by very powerful countries regarding population control. Yeah, I mean, those things are there.
Yeah.
If you're interested.
Like China, I think.
It's not even a theory. It's actually there. And the reason behind that has to do with competition for natural resources. The idea is that us here, we live in a space where we have so many natural resources. And several other people in the world rely on those natural resources. So it's really about survival. So they would sit down and calculate and say, if these people who are sitting on the resources that we need for our own survival, wakapakisa, if there are so many of them, and if they become so educated, and they also learn how to appropriate those resources, what will become of us? So there's a place for that theory, and the basis for it, the documents are there, and we are not just creating things, right? And there's also been an argument against family planning for that reason, these contraceptives that we give, right? But the flip side of it is that you need to navigate that conversation very carefully, because it still matters that you are able to produce children you can support.
True.
Okay? So that you can give your children a chance to actually thrive and compete in the world. We can't just produce kids anyhow.
By the fact that we're
Even
able
children we can't even support. This thing where, because you are my brother, inokuningo bala chabewana.
My brother is a doctor.
Because you have a job. Every time I need to buy minimum, I come to you. But na bala wana bari 10 or 15. But I'm relying on you to continue giving me money to feed my children. That kind of posture, we need to really get rid of it. And that's why the issue of family planning comes in.
Okay.
If family planning and contraceptives, whether hormonal or otherwise, is really about making sure that we have children we can afford, I would strongly encourage it.
Okay.
Yes, let's have children we can afford. But I'll also tell you this, that those who are capable to have children, we need more people. Those who are economically capable to have children,
but the challenge, Doc, is
Because this thing where you have money, you can afford to feed people, and you only have one child, you only have 2 children. And it's not like you have 2 children out of choice. But you have more money, you can have more children. Balani.
Hallelujah.
No, we need people.
Because you're able to take care.
No, we need people. And for me, and what I'm about to say will be a bit controversial, but I don't think I should say this.
No, you can say it. Look, I'm curious to know what you wanted to say.
I'll say it off camera.
Okay.
But Balan.
Balan, that's a message.
For me, my argument is, if for example, you have means, and you are capable of supporting a lot of people, and you will not lead children into destitution, and you're economically viable enough to do that, have more children. Yeah. Why are you doing these things? Yeah. Balani.
And these days
now,
you find...
if you know you're not capable, and you know that in a pano, my earning capacity I can only have, say, 3 children, 4 children, 2 children, then do Vama contraceptive.
Now, talking about contraceptives, Doc, more on the side of women, you will find that there are women who react badly to these hormonal implants, like the one that you put in here.
Cranberry, they do,
yeah. I read somewhere, or I heard it somewhere, someone said that people with a certain blood type usually do not do well with. Is it all with those? Is that scientifically true?
Majority of hormonal contraceptives do come with certain issues. For example, weight gain for some, but not everybody, but some do. That's why Nkanya vasectomy comes in. If you don't want your wife to be on these chemicals, on these hormones, do a vasectomy then.
So between, if a couple comes to you, then what would you recommend as a practitioner?
If they're struggling with the hormonal contraceptives, I would recommend barrier methods. And one of the barrier methods is actually vasectomy. Just do it. Including tying the tubes if you can. Do it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'd recommend.
Okay. But my question, Doc, is does blood type conflict sometimes with hormonal...
I have not come across that, both in practice and in theory.
Oh, okay.
No, I haven't.
Okay. Something I think.
But I mean, if there's new research that's showing that, I'm happy to look at it.
Okay. That's great. I have one last question for you, Doc. Before, guys, do you have any questions? Okay. Yeah, he raised his hand.
Can you go ahead?
Yes, you can go ahead.
Oh, okay. Doc, we spoke about how we needed to educate the people during the HIV pandemic.
Yes.
For them to be enlightened and take certain measures. My argument would be, don't you think commercialization of social issues has affected the ability for education to have an impact in the African setup? Being that the RRV industry is a big industry, billion-dollar industry. So the guys that are in control want to make profits. And they know if these guys are educated, they abstain, they use contraceptives, it means we're not making money. So as much as we are blaming the African setup, say you guys are not utilizing education for the geese, don't we have to blame the guys up there who have commercialized social issues? And every time there's an issue, they'll say, oh, we'll pull out these things, we'll do this, X and X, because they know they'll lose out on money.
I mean, you could say that, but you have countries like Nigeria, for example, right? Nigeria has a much bigger population than us. Much bigger. But their HIV rate is way lower than ours. Yes, the Nigerian HIV rate is in single digits.
Why?
What is the literacy rate in Nigeria?
Can I check?
Should be better than Zambia.
They have more educated people.
Yeah, they have more educated people. It's very true. Yeah.
But I don't know what strategies they use. I don't want to put that as the only explanation, right? But there could be other parameters that they used to prevent their population from catching HIV the way we have here. So the idea to say that HIV prevalence or increase in HIV is being pushed by big pharma, I don't see that. Yeah, that idea, I don't see it. Why? Because how about countries that have much, much lower HIV prevalence, and then they have more people than us? For example, India has 1 billion people, right? The HIV numbers in India are much lower than Zambia by percentage.
One would say the producers and they're more educated than us.
You could argue, but it also has to do with maybe the cultural space in which you're operating. Also has to do with, the factors are many. It's not just one factor. We can't pick one factor and say because of this one factor, therefore. Yeah. One of the factors I'll tell you that is very unfortunate during that time, not now, but at that time, religion in Zambia played a very negative role in promoting the transmission of HIV. Not that religion was telling people to go and sleep with each other. No. Religion was blocking the usage of condoms. People stood on a podium and preached against condoms. Yes.
At the expense of our people.
Yes, that happened. It's not a secret. And I'm not saying anything new here. And everybody knows that these things happened. And I'm not saying that religion or religious people or pastors and bishops are the sole reason why HIV was rising in Zambia. No. But you cannot deny the impact of that message. You can't. Yeah. So we also have to take things within context that big pharma did not push the HIV transmission in Zambia, because remember, HIV as a disease, in terms of transmission, it has several factors that drive it. For some people, they have no choice but to put themselves in harm's way for HIV. Why? Because maybe they are sex workers. And for them, that's the only way they can feed their children.
My question, Doc, my last question is related to Big Pharma, and it has to do with COVID. When COVID came around, we would see maybe 80,000 people have died in the US. And from what we were seeing, and I remember any small slight, you feel I might have it. But when an audit was done in those same countries, they discovered that no, less people died than were reported. For the case of Africa, were we used as a selling site for the vaccines that were made by Big Pharma? Because Big Pharma, I hold of the view that Big Pharma has the way of manipulating society so that profits are actualized. So for us as a country or even as a continent, do you think that we were used as a capital or we were muked using the COVID pandemic in the way it was promoted in terms of its threat to our people?
You see, to get where we are, the scientific community has done things that very deleterious, some very shameful, some very evil, right? And along the way, some things have happened and have been done, and some continue to happen even to this day that are unethical to push the bottom line profits.
Yeah.
However, COVID was real, and people actually died. More people in Europe, by percentage, died from COVID than Africans. But still, people died here. One of the things that protected us was that we are used to washing hands all the time. So because you are already culturally inclined to washing hands, that somehow also protected you from COVID.
Okay.
Just
unknowingly so.
Yeah. But were there other things? Because it's very difficult for anybody who is in our industry to sit and defend the pharmaceutical or the pharma, the big pharma, with a straight face. It's difficult. Why? Because in the past, there's been incidences where unethical things have happened. But does that define the whole big pharma? No, it doesn't. Yeah. But you cannot sit with a straight face and say there's been no unethical behavior that has happened. I'll give you an example. Not so long ago, people were deliberately infected with syphilis.
Where?
In the US.
Oh, okay.
Black people, literally. Deliberately infected with syphilis and not given medication because they wanted to study what syphilis does to the human body. Pasache matenda, not giving you any drugs, they just want to see what the drug would do. And people died. Okay. Some of these things we benefit from and we are teaching people. Say, this is what syphilis does to your body. People died in the process of that. So there's been that conflict. There's been that moral quandary, if you like, where a lot of good has come out of big pharma. Yes, but there's also been some things that are less than, morally, that are difficult. And that's why along the way you have now these rules, international rules that have been agreed upon on how to conduct business in the medical space.
Yeah.
Now, despite those rules, right, bad things still happen. You know why? Human beings are not perfect.
Yeah. Human being will always be a human being. Well said, Doc. Is there anything else you'd like to send out to our people with regards to the education podcast and your philosophy? That will be the last statement.
Yes. My statement, and on this one, on this hill, I stand firm. Send children to school. Don't listen to anybody who tells you that you can succeed without education. Could be so. Send children to school. What they do with their education, that's a discussion for another day. But let us send kids to school in their thousands. Yeah.
Well, you heard it not from me, but from the king. I got a king of the water.
The chief of the water.
Yes, the chief of the water tribe, Dr. Mujajati Aaron. Doc, thank you very much for sharing you're a great mind.
My pleasure.
And I'll tell you, you are very good with conversations. You are very good with conversations. Wow. Very, very good with conversations.
I'm touched.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Until next time, this is the Education Podcast. Remember to subscribe, share, and give us the feedback that we deserve as we push the education agenda. Education for all, making a difference in our country. And signing out.